Auntie, we are back
Oh,
for part 2 of our conversation, our talk.
yeah.
I think both of us were pretty exhausted today. Just we had a great talk, but it was heavy. It was a lot. And I wanted to point out that's your father behind you.
Yes.
Yes, that's your father. And um I also, we talked a lot about suffering last night, and you stated that you know you weren't different than anyone else, that we all suffer. And I do believe that. And I think that, especially in America right now, all over the world, a lot of people are suffering. And I don't think that Americans are strangers to suffering, especially certain classes of Americans. They
Yes.
have endured a lot of suffering.
Yes.
And it's that resiliency that I think makes us American. It's probably also what made you fall in love with Americans, and what you have. It's resilience. And I think where we don't maybe connect with other people around the world in terms of suffering is, we've never had to fight a war on our land. There's never been a war on our land. We've never, unless you've been shipped abroad, most of us have not experienced war. And I think that lends a different type of suffering, and it just gives a different perspective. I'm sure it shaped your perspective, it shaped your life. But I wanted to clarify that, because we were talking about that yesterday, and I thought, you know Americans have suffered too, and it's just, we've never suffered the burden of having a war on our own soil, which is
Which
tremendous.
is wonderful.
Yeah.
And closest ever came is was 9/11.
Yes.
You know. Yeah.
And that was devastating.
Yeah, but it wasn't war. I
It
mean, it
was.
was a war, but it was that.
Yeah.
Boy, that brings me memory.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think you summed it up good. Uh, to me, suffering is only half of it's like a you know, shell. It takes two to make a shell, and we enjoy seafood, you know.
Mm-hmm.
If we only suffer, only halfway we are get there. Next one is to make a complete. How do I make a good out of this suffering?
How do I persevere?
Yeah. And I think also there is something I need to learn. Perhaps this is the time greater power is teaching me.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think, well, I'm not sure about how good I am or how smart I am. But I do know suffering made me much more deeper thinking and much more compassionate. And also learning to enjoy life when I don't have suffering. Yeah. Sometimes you can get too close to suffering. Suffering becomes your friend. And not knowingly, we can also create sufferings for ourselves. And that's what I really believe that.
I
And
go ahead.
because without a drama, people cannot, well, I cannot say people. When I was young, I needed to be busy. I need to be busy. I'm accomplishing. So I'm always doing multitasking, watch TV with holding the clothes or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
because you feel more accomplished and also practical. But as I get older, I'm pretty much alone. People come visit me, and just certain people. Other than Jeff, I think everybody's young people. Yeah. And I enjoy their company once in a while. But from being very extremely social and just, everybody think I was a social. I love to have people around. But I, I'm finding out last 10 years, I actually rather like being alone. That's some new discovery.
And is that just wisdom that comes with age?
Uh, I think getting to know yourself. Before, I was too busy to live. Now, I have such a luxury to go in to visit me and all the compartment. And then I'm visiting, and I'm having a nice shock sometimes. Oh, I didn't know that's who I was. I have the other experience well too, but I'm having fun doing that, and that requires being alone, and it just came naturally to me. I think most people will go crazy if they live like I am now. I'm pretty sure. So, but it's like getting to know myself. And people say getting older, you you get wisdom. It's not automatic. You have more experience, but that's another half shell. You have to say, oh, this is what we call wisdom, and say thank you and receive it. Because as we get older, we can be very wicked,
Mm-hmm.
very wicked. I can think a deeper level of wickedness. I just don't practice. I have so it's not automatic, honey. Either I make a choice to be better or bitter. I met a lot of bitter old people, you know.
And that probably comes from them not taking the time to work on self-discovery, not to look within and to look at the things that have happened in their life and learn from them.
No, usually they blame others.
Mm-hmm. And that's, I think, the quickest way to bitterness.
Yes. Yeah, B2B. But so sometime, what do you want me to talk about now?
Well, let's pick up where we left off, and you were just about to come to America.
Mm,
You
okay.
were singing in the choir, and I guess you met some people, and it was the 60s, I believe.
Yes, it was 61. I had a made arrangement,
Okay.
and I came here. I'm not sure, 62 maybe.
And
But
where did you land?
I came to San Francisco. I landed there. I didn't know Seoul, but there was a couple. Their name was, her husband was a sergeant, very nice man, and Virginia Rolling, and she lived in Lawton, Oklahoma. I never heard Latin Oklahoma before that.
Yeah.
She invited me to stay with her. I think she was a friend of all us, you know, these people. So I bought a ticket to San Francisco, and I thought I was in Latin Oklahoma.
I bet you were shocked when you actually got to Oklahoma.
Well, both were shocked because at that time, a lot of hippies homeless, sleeping in the airport. And I said, what did I come into? You know,
You landed in San Francisco right in the height of the hippie revolution,
I
didn't you?
did. But you know, one thing I noticed, I took away was it's a very strange culture for me, but they all look nice. They all look like a good people to me. Yeah. And a lot of some Korean friends who are the American born Americans, they didn't like it in Midwest very much. And, you know, if you don't like somebody, they become who you expect it to be. So if I elevate you, not out of reality, but, you know, I found your good things, because everybody have good things, good points. And if I do that, I found out they really respond better. And I was thinking about me, I do too.
Mm-hmm.
And you feel responsibility of, hey, am I really that? I don't want to disappoint her or him. Maybe this is time to learn about who I who I am in their eyes, why they call me good, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so that keeps you occupied. But I came to San Francisco and I told somebody in very broken English, showed them I'm going to Latin Oklahoma. How far am I from there? Can I take taxi? Oh my goodness. And they look at me like, oh, obviously you have never been American. And one young man was so sweet. And he said, ma'am, we are very long way to Oklahoma. Where you want to go? So I said, how far? 2 hours? And he says, no. I didn't have money to get another airplane ticket. So I got a bus ticket, Greyhound bus. Lord willing, I'd never want to ride again.
Oh, so uncomfortable.
Oh, and then I had a sickness with the bus, you know. I threw up everything. And anyway,
Was that the longest bus ride you had been on?
yeah, I hope that'll be the last.
Yeah.
I threw up, but you know, it took 3 days.
Yeah, you were going from one tip of the country to the middle.
Yeah, and then they stopped by and changed it, you know, drivers. But once again, I just fell in love with Americans. This young man bought a sandwich and he gave me a half. And we stopped by some famous place like a Tabernacle Choir, Las Vegas, and he will share with me. And he happened to go to Oklahoma. He was, I don't know, he didn't say a whole lot because he knew I didn't understand. So we got the bus together. Thank God he was there. And we got into bus. I tell you what, I don't want much, but I don't want to ride a Greyhound bus anymore.
I don't blame you. And,
No.
you know, Sue, I wonder if it's your the energy that you put out, the demeanor that you have, you know, the smile on your face that attracted all of these nice people into your life. You know, this guy on the Greyhound bus who shared his sandwich with you and helped you through on the journey.
Well, I doubt that I had such a demeanor. I think what they saw was a little girl very scared to death.
Yeah, that's also very possible.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And so, because of this particular young angel, I was able to get it to Latin bus station without being lonely, without being really scared. But he helped me, even we did not communicate. Uh, and I stayed with this family for quite a while. And I will do the babysitting and cleaning, but I didn't need to speak English that much. But the day I landed in America, I said to myself, I will not speak Korean until I can dream in English.
And how long did that take?
2 years.
That's not that long of a time.
No,
That's
no.
not.
I was surprised how quickly I learned. Uh, I mean, that was amazing to me. I love English, language of English. So I studied quite a bit at um, Korea, but everything is relative. Well, what I learned a lot is not a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's better when you're speaking it, when you're immersed in it.
Yeah. And it's not about language. I needed to understand the culture of America. What takes Americans? Why they are so nice to strangers? You know?
And have you figured that out yet? Have you figured out why? Because I do think that Americans are nice
By long shot.
and they smile at you. You know, there's of course there's people who are not going to smile at you, but you know, I think that generally most Americans are going to help someone who's in need. I really do believe.
Oh, I know this. Uh, Koreans are like that, but we are too hungry. We are too, during the war, we couldn't help very many people, but we did help each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Japanese are not like that. Um,
In your experience, that's how it was?
yeah, and most people experience that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're very reserved. And my role model, Mrs. Barnett, was in Japan for 3 years, and he couldn't. She's seen so much somebody fall down by the bus and nobody picks them up.
Mm-hmm.
That's the national personality.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I think I spent a lot of time in Germany because of our technology,
Mm-hmm.
and after I spent 30 days there, I learned. Oh, it made a sense why Germany and Japanese they started the war. Yeah, they are identical in this way. If government say hierarchy says something,
Mm-hmm.
they think it's God's word. Koreans are not like that. They question,
And clearly Americans also do.
but that's a given.
Yeah.
And so when I was traveling a lot in Europe, I really enjoyed the Europe, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I decide Koreans are Eastern Italian and Japanese is Eastern German.
Okay. So you like the Italians. You enjoyed Italy.
My favorite place.
I've never been.
Oh, you love it. You
Oh.
love it. You know, um, although they're not carefree, everybody has the burdens, but they are very carefree. They they enjoy life. I like that. And beautiful countries, beautiful countries. So
So when were you, how long were you in Oklahoma before you started traveling around? And also,
it,
actually, let me ask you this, because this was an interesting part of your story. You actually did some work for the US government.
yeah,
And so how long were you in the US
okay,
before you were recruited?
3 years.
And
That was
what
all.
what
Well,
happened?
those days there was not a lot of Koreans came to America that who who can speak English. Mostly it was a American soldier's wife, and not only they didn't even know alphabet of English, but they don't even know how to read in Korean, because remember it was wartime.
Yes.
Yeah, and a lot of them become like a prostitute. I call them their patriot, um, and that they're how they supported the society.
Yeah. It was
Yeah,
a necessary thing.
it was a very necessary thing, and uh, yeah, and they carry the economy of Korea.
Women usually carry the world on their backs. And
We
I
do.
might be
Mhm.
biased because I'm a woman, but
You know, I never thought about that until Reason Week. I thought
until what?
Reason Weeks. I
Yeah.
said, wow, woman has a wisdom. Woman is more willing to take a risk. Yeah. And I thought about, oh, how lucky I am to be a woman, you know, and you don't have to keep up quite much as a man. And I got to know men's work very well because I worked always. And men are very fragile. Yeah,
I don't disagree with you.
yeah,
Well, I mean, women have to bear children. Like, just that in itself is
and yeah, of
it's
course, it's a humongous, humongous. And we are born with this naturally want to take care of it, you know.
Mhm. We're
And,
yeah, nurturing
yeah,
and
hmm
protecting.
and I feel I'm equal to men, always have been, because my father told me, you know, you are, you're that those days the smartest man, you're smartest man. In fact, you're smarter than men. You never heard things like that
I was going
those
to say that
days.
had to be rare,
Oh,
Auntie. That had to be
very,
rare.
honey, that's very rare.
Yeah.
And
Especially in Korea.
yeah, and my mother gets so mad at my father because you tell those stories. She's impossible to deal with, you know. But what a gift he gave me in such a short period.
I mean, that's confidence. He's telling you you can be anything that you want to be in the world.
Yeah, that's what he said. And then there's no, and they weren't going to pressure me which school to go, what I need to be. But that all was shattered because of the war, you know. And and I don't know. I told you or not. Right before I came to America, that's one story that I couldn't go to school. I didn't have money, and that's such a shame, you know. Very society look at you with shame. So every day I put on uniform, went to MacArthur Park and sit down with a whole bunch of men that don't have job. And that's where I studied. So everybody thought I was coming back from school.
Oh, wow. So how did you get the books?
Book is
How,
valuable anywhere. It's not like it.
and you just took it into your own hands.
Yeah. But because of that, I learned a lot more English. I would not go to sleep if I did not memorize 20 words a day.
That's what I'm talking about, Sue. And when I say that you're an ordinary person, but you're extraordinary, like you were dealt a very hard hand,
Yeah,
and
I did.
you refused to accept it. You just refused. You are self-taught, and you're so resilient. And what I really wanted people to get out of this conversation with you was that if you put your mind to something, you can accomplish it, and you can help others. Wherever you succeed, you can help others to succeed there as well. Like you didn't have
Yes.
to go teach yourself. You didn't have to, come to America to try to have a better life. You didn't have to do these things that you did, and you took the hard road.
Yeah, every time I think I took a hard road, but I had a purpose.
And that's so important to have. And a lot of people right
Yes,
now, I don't know if it's I don't know if it's it just feels like right now maybe there is an epidemic of people who feel like they don't have a purpose. and
mm-hmm.
and that's, I think, one of the, and I mean, I was like that for a long time. I just thought, what am I doing here? What is this? What is what is my purpose? And once you find it, once you can grasp onto that, if you just hold tight, I think it really changes your life.
Yes,
It changes your trajectory of
yeah,
life.
life. Exactly right. And I didn't think I had an option but to go to park and study, you know. And winter time so cold, but all those uncles, they stay there like their job, so they make a good fire. So and they really liked me because they knew what I was doing, and good for you. And they will help me. They'll give me something. They bought some bread and they'll share with me, and they will say, "You're gonna make it, girl. You're gonna make it, girl." So I feel like I receive so much blessings from strangers, and you
I
know,
I think you did, but you put yourself out there, and you didn't give up on yourself, which is so important. That's just, don't give up on yourself, and don't underestimate yourself, and
that's right.
believe in yourself.
That's right.
Believe.
That's right. I said, my relatives all say, "Why do you have such a self-confidence?" I said, "Why not?" Much later, I realized it was my father, that he was, out of 12 kids, he was only son survived, two, and his sister. And he took a life as very valuable. And more than anything else, I appreciated him and greatly thankful is that he gave me a mind. He, even all these years, I don't see, I think like he does. I'm very sure of, because the first years he laid a, you know, solid ground for us, for me anyway. And
It sounds like, go ahead, Auntie.
when I got to Oklahoma, it took 2 years, 2 to 3 years, that I was able to speak a little bit, things like that. So my life got a little bit better. And but I thought, what a wonderful land this is. You just come in, you don't even speak English, you don't know what they're doing, but they took you under their arm and say, you can do it. I met so many angels. And I think God knew I needed a lot of angels. The never felt like people are being prejudiced.
That's amazing. And even in
You know,
Oklahoma, Oklahoma is not
oh,
known necessarily for its openness.
there's a lady named Shirley. I'm sure she died. She was close to me. But I've become a very close friend of Mrs. Johnson in USO director. I don't know how I got met, but anyway, I met. And she loved me and she knew I didn't have anything. So she will, I went to her class. She will, uh, she will encourage me and says, don't give up. Like you said, don't give up. And she was a black lady. One day I came home, nobody would talk to me in my neighborhood because I brought Mrs. Johnson to my house. She is well educated. Oh, what a beautiful woman. And then she had a very wonderful house. And but because she's black, but I really, really loved her. And I got I don't even know how I got the message. Anyway, that, American DOD is looking for bilingual and bicultural. And I guarantee you there wasn't anybody like that because it was a long time ago. Now, dime a dozen, but no. And we had to take a test and something like that. So
Wait, Miss Johnson, was she helping you with this? Get this DOD job?
no,
Okay. She was just a good friend.
very good friend. Oh, no, you're right. She introduced me to somebody.
And
Told her,
so let's get to this DOD because
yeah.
this is where it really starts to get interesting. So
That's,
you sign up and you are recruited by the US government
yeah,
to essentially become a spy.
I think that's a good thing. Yeah, that's accurate.
So what happened?
So I worked at, maybe I shouldn't talk about where I worked. I worked at branch.
Okay.
And to outsiders, I just was a DOD person. They didn't know I was a spy. And I don't think I understood the concept first. And there's a Captain Carey. He had 7 kids. And he and I become very good friends. And he will teach me things, And when you go to corner, you talk like that. Really incredible people surrounding me. And I don't think I could survive if it's not a goodness of Americans. So I went to Korea and what I did, I have to tell you what I did. Among the other confidential things, American government give a lot of money to Korean government to entertaining the soldiers, and let me see. So let's say American give a Korean government $1 million.
Okay.
And they want the very best singer, very best entertainer. but there was so much corruptions. America will pay first grade talent and maybe get a fourth to fifth grade.
So the government was keeping the money.
What I understood, it was so corrupt within all the individuals got.
Okay.
It did not government. And so I watched the show. It's not first grade. I know what they pay for. No, it wasn't. It was awful. And so that's how they used me.
Okay. So you were kind of sniffing out embezzlement.
Yes, but I have to be first the friend to those entertainers. You know, I, I don't have personality for mingle with the entertainers.
You're
That's
too honest.
Yes, I think so. Because they only know how honest a person can, how much peace and joy I can have because I'm honest, you know. And it didn't always serve me right, but nonetheless. So I will have a chat with them, get to know, I get into their net and find out where the corruption is and where things are like that. And then some other things was very confidential I did. Those days we didn't have email, you know? So I traveled with a lot of documents because you cannot send, there's nothing those days.
Yeah.
Yeah, so one day I didn't know I was in dangerous position. They gave me extra money. Driver come pick me up. It's a blue driver. It's like a station wagon. And there was 4 drivers signed to our unit, a few people. He will always, when he come pick me up, he will always close the window, little curtains. And I said, oh, Mr. Kim, I want to see outside. Ma'am, I cannot do that. I said, why not? And he said, I don't think you really know how dangerous job you have.
You were just happy.
Yeah.
You were just living life. And he's like,
Life,
no, you're a spy. You need to act
I
like
know.
it.
Driver told me that. Korean driver said, Koreans are very direct by and large. I says, man, I don't think you understand. And that will be against the policy if I open the curtains. I said, okay, but I never ever felt once it was dangerous or anything. I just had a heck of fun.
How many years did you do that?
3 years.
Oh, wow.
And they paid the good, you know. I've never made that kind of money in my life. And because I become American before I went there, I become American in San Francisco.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, so because I was taking off from there. But anyway,
So wait, Sue, so you landed in America and then within 3 years you already had your American citizenship?
yeah.
Wow.
When your government wants you to be American citizen, there's
They'll find a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, how lucky I am.
Yeah.
And I went to Korea. That was still 60s, okay? So I came all late 60s, still 60s. I remember that.
Did you get to see your mother and your family?
Oh, yes.
Good.
And I was so happy. We, from like a queen and owner of all this land, with the war, losing husband, my mother become poor. And so what American government gave to me, and they will give me a 25% extra for hazardous duty on my own home. So that was a critical juncture in my family. They couldn't go to school. And my brother, who was retired from Pentagon, the day he needed the, what do you call it, the tuition, I showed up.
Wow.
And I remember taking him to the 8th Army inside where the Americans live. And I cashed the $325 that, yeah, 325 or 300, I don't know. And I gave him brand new money to him, Korean money. I will never forget how he looked at me. He couldn't believe. And that was a lot of money, $300, 1960s.
Oh,
But
yeah.
Korean schools are very expensive.
And that's just for 1 year? Tuition for 1 year was 300?
No, half year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And so most families sell their house and they borrow money, and, you know, because whole culture is based on Confucianism. Yi dynasty was Confucianism.
Mm-hmm.
So Confucianism is all about learning. That's why we respect them. If you want to be respected, call teacher. My maiden name is Kang, teacher Kang. That is really high honor. And teachers get paid well. And so my brothers and sister went to school because I make such great money. Like a same job, let's say, almost same grade, Korean will make, I'll make 6-7 times more than Korean.
So you essentially went back and lifted your entire family out of poverty.
Yes. And one day, I said to Colonel Brown, my boss, his name was Lawrence G. Brown, full colonel, I said, he loved me. He loved me like a little daughter, you know? And he said, he protected me a lot. You know, so there was a jealousy. I'm Korean, so why am I getting American pay? So I get jealous from both sides, Koreans and Americans.
That institutionalized racism.
Yeah. Oh, yes. So I just, so one time there was a black lady. She was a civil service, and she was next door to me, office. Her name was Liz. She was so mean to Koreans. She, you know, so because we don't have money.
Mm-hmm.
And master's degree and doctor's degree, they shine the shoes of a soldier. And they're called the houseboys. And, but we have to make a living.
Mm-hmm.
And this lady, Liz, was so mean to, you know, Korean. And Koreans are subservient to Americans those days, not anymore. But so she said, so I got up. I said, in front of everybody, I said, Liz, let me talk to you. She says, what about? She didn't like me. And I said, is it because you're so oppressed, because you're black? Is that why you're trying to revenge with the Korean race? Why are you so mean? You had enough pain because of racially. And so I would think you'll be better with the Koreans. You'll understand more. But you are the worst black person I ever met.
Hmm.
All the Koreans clap the hand, you know. But it's a funny thing. I saw a lot of human mind works. You think that you've been oppressed, so you will help them. But no, they oppress you more. And
that is the interesting thing about oppression and colonization.
yes,
It's like you would expect that someone who has been through that suffering and through that oppression would relate to another oppressed person, but it's almost like those
almost.
people, they're trying to scrape to the
Oh,
top of the
yes.
ladder, so they're just pushing down whoever they can
And they
because
have
they just don't want to experience that anymore. And
and
it's not.
yeah, and they say they don't have any mercy for others, but when you start having mercy, you're down. So pretty hard living. And I don't know why I was chosen so much, where high power always protect me. I don't know why.
You're
You
touched.
know,
You're touched, Auntie. You're touched.
no, nobody can convince me that. I just don't understand. I'm just thankful.
Yeah. And that's all you have to be, is thankful.
So just the 3 years I brought and then from there, my youngest brother, half brother, went to Air Force Academy and they sent him to medical school. So he became a physician. Other brother who cleaned the toilets 180 of them a day, so he can pay back to his sister money that I spent on him for coming to America. Very responsible bunch. And so he became an engineer, and then the other one become a physician. And my sister had a business. So it was from poverty. Actually, before that, it's high society living with everything you ever wanted, into gradually and rapidly become part of a poverty. And I knew I was going to come to America because my father told me, you've got to go to big land. He liked America. So who doesn't? But anyway, besides the point. And so, and then I become more materially, that I had a lot of money, because I did not spend money like Americans in Korea. I spend money like Koreans.
You were very frugal with your money?
Yeah, very frugal. And we don't need a lot of expensive meats, anything, a lot of vegetables. Yeah. And then every one of my siblings had a purpose.
So you got to spend 3 years with them in Korea?
Yeah.
Wow. And then once you were already an American, it was easy for you to bring them over.
No, no. What happened is we did, I asked my Connor, I said, Connor Brown, I wish you could help me. This is what he said to us. I cannot leave my family here. Could you help me so I can take my family back home? He did.
Wow.
Yeah,
Even your mother?
Yeah. Yeah, he did. So we used to exchange a Christmas card, but he's dead now. Very, very nice looking, very generous. And Connor, he was like my father.
Yeah.
And he helped me. And I didn't have to pay one dime.
It's amazing what knowing the right people will do.
Oh, that's it. But my question is, how how do I know all these important people? I do not consider that I'm beautiful. I don't think I'm bad looking, but I don't come from home with money. All the connection is gone when my father died. So how, that's a question mark.
But don't you think that, I mean, given your experiences, don't you have to believe that some people are just a little bit more lucky than others? Like some people just,
I do.
they can't catch a break. And
Yeah.
then others, they seem to kind of go through life a little smoothly. Things just fall into place for them. And I don't know why, but I think that you're one of those people. You, not that your life was smooth, especially in
Oh,
your
I
early
know,
age,
but I understand.
but you just happened to meet the right people at the right time, and they
Right time.
took a liking to you, and they were able to help you in ways that, quite frankly, people would probably kill for to bring
That's
their
is
entire family.
that is exactly right. And those days, you didn't have a lot of Korean Americans working for government,
I'm sure you
especially,
were very few.
yeah, very few. Now, a lot, but and I was so filled with joy. I thank God every day. I thank, my family is doing well. And then so my brothers quit school and they went to exclusively English classes because we got all the paper we're going to come. So they didn't need to learn. School here is a lot easier than Korea.
Yeah, I bet it is. I bet it is. I'm not doubting that at
No,
all. I'm sure they got to school here and they were like, I learned this in elementary. I learned this in
yeah,
primary school.
especially science and the
Mathematics.
mathematics. And my brother, engineer, he also has a mathematics degree, master's. And then he got lovely. But anyway, how easy life is here. That's why suffering is good. Suffering is a good teacher. But suffering also can make a very bitter person. It's our choice. Everything is our choice. I don't understand, honey. Why would somebody choose the way not to benefit you, not to grow? Um, I was never materialistic. But what made me so happy is my family is not in poverty anymore.
I mean,
So
it's a beautiful thing. It's
it
beautiful.
is, it is.
I
And
mean,
yes,
poverty is devastating. Poverty is devastating. And for you to be able to lift your
just to
entire
lift it up.
family.
Yeah,
And I think that that's a story that that's the American dream. That's the story a lot of, I think, immigrants to this country share, a lot of people of color in this
yes,
country share when they succeed and they're able to lift themselves out of poverty. I think it's very, very often you see that they bring their entire family with them.
we
And that
do.
and that can also be a burden to support an entire family, but you know.
Everybody contribute.
Mhm. And
Every,
in your family, it seems like, they would,
yeah,
everyone went on to be, make the best of
very
their life.
excellent,
Yes.
very excellent. And and it was so easy for us. We didn't understand. My brother want to go to Air Force Academy because it's free. But he has to have a job, and the job has to recommend to him how good worker or bad worker he is. So he went to work for McDonald's, high school, and he became a fastest burger flipper. And so
He
he was,
took pride in
oh
his work.
yes, yeah. And then he went to contest in Atlanta, Georgia. He got big trophy.
For burger flipping.
Yeah, burger flipping, fastest and accurately. And he enjoyed it. He had a little screwdriver, and then, I mean, he says, how can it be any better than this? I don't have to pay for school. All you have to do, little study. I have never seen my brother bring homework. So I said, Ken, I don't want your job to hinder your, school. Why would it hinder? I said, well, I never seen you opening a book. That's what recession is for, sis. I do all the homework in recession so I can go to work.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, and my other brother did the same thing. And then, so blessing. Life
But
is so blessing.
but Auntie, it really just goes to show that your state of mind is everything.
Absolutely.
Your brother was happy flipping burgers. That was the perfect job for him. He took pride in it,
Oh, yeah.
and it brought him happiness.
Not only
And
happiness, when he went to Air Force Academy, the chairman of McDonald wrote a recommended letter. How wonderful and hard work Kennedy is. So that's pretty amazing, And of course, being in Air Force Academy, he become a very great leader. He don't take himself too seriously. He's like a MASH doctor, you know. And I guess they're very smart. People say we are smart, maybe so. I see how well my brother's doing, gives me pride of more than pride, grateful. We could have had a bad, brain. I mean, not bad, but not so quite up to there. And we could have had a heart problem. We all were healthy. And my mother had a high blood pressure, but I took it to a military doctor when I was in Korea. Our life changed.
immediately.
Yeah. With a 2-month salary.
Wow. 2 months just.
We become from poverty to high class.
And where in the States did you come back to? Where did you bring your family?
Texas.
What part of Texas?
San Antonio.
Okay.
It was good.
I bet that was a scenery shot because San Antonio is the
Oh,
desert. So had you seen the
no,
desert like that before?
no, but they made it so beautiful. And we stayed there a long time. And I worked a lot with the military wives.
What kind of work did you do with them?
Mm. I studied the Bible with them and I did the cultural things, and it was very popular, become very, very popular. It was a funny thing. The army chaplain will tell everybody, oh, your boss here? It was me. I was the youngest one, but he called me boss. Because these ladies, they don't know how to read. And there's something really I learned valuable lesson of, because Korea is very classy, where did you go to school, what your family is like. So you can imagine those night ladies, they don't grade too high, But I become very close friend with them because I was teaching them. And they were teaching me how to cook Korean food because I never did. So what I used to see, how could you do that? How could you? I become an admirer. I respect them for their wonderful hearts And they used the maximally what tool that he was given to them. You
That's
know?
what it's about. What tools are given to you,
Yeah.
and can you use them? And then can you use them to help others once,
Others.
once you are, in a position to help
Position.
others.
And no place it can happen except America.
That is the beautiful thing about the country
Yeah.
that we live in.
Yeah.
Because we have, we definitely have a class system here, but
not like
but
Eastern
not
Bloc.
like Korea. Yeah,
not like Chinese, not like Japanese. No.
You have the ability, if you, and I don't think that either one of us are naive enough to think that people are created equal, like that people are born equally into families. But
That's mm-hmm.
if you have the fortitude of the mind and you have people supporting you, even if it's one school counselor, even if it's one person who's
exactly
like, you can do it, then you can, you can go from flipping burgers at McDonald's to becoming a physician. You can do that.
Full corner.
Yeah.
Fly surgeon.
You can do it.
Yeah, you can do it. And what I try to share with my families, this is a gift. It's not yours to brag about. It's not mine to brag about. They were very thankful to me. If you're thankful to me, I know you are. Be kind to others. They thought I was very kind that already. They said, you're so kind to those people. You smile all the time. And if I bowled for a while, and I didn't get the best bowler, but I got the most friendly.
Miss Congeniality.
Yeah, that's what I did. And, it brought me so much more joy when I'm being very little bit nice to people. I learned that quickly.
And it goes so much further in their life just to be kind to someone, especially because you just don't know. Some people have never experienced kindness. They don't understand that there are people that are kind. Their parents were never kind to them. Their family was.
And school is not kind. No, they don't know.
The world is a bleak place to a lot of people. So if
they
you can be kind.
So they hang on to money.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't have to hang on to money because my life was bits of suffering. It was good. And again, today, after that terrible, terrible thing happening, what is that?
In Washington?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I see, even that, I see so much kindness people care about, We needed this lesson. We learned the lesson, I hope. I hope. And people are not educated here. So I don't mean school, just global knowledge or whatever, they don't know. I hope. So we do stupid things. We become so stupid. There is a saying in Korea, if you love your son, just give him a backpack, toothpaste, towel, and toothbrush, and let him travel. That will be the best education here I've known. See, we traveled a lot coming here. Americans don't have to go anywhere. And I get sometimes angry and irritated when the people come and they live so by themselves, because it's all about integration, interdependent. People are very proud. I'm very independent. I said, well, that's a lonely life.
Yeah. Well, and it does. I absolutely agree with you when you say, you know, the independence. And I think that that's also a very American quality, is to be
Mm.
independent, you know, take care of yourself. But at the same time, that saying it takes a village to raise a child is true.
It's
It's
true.
true that we need each other.
Each other.
And just think about during this pandemic, Auntie, the
Oh,
amount of people who have had to go to food banks. I had never in my life
I know.
seen, I didn't think that that existed in this country because we keep everything so veiled. But when I saw the pictures of the lines and lines of cars for
Hundreds of
miles,
cars, yeah, miles, yeah,
I thought something's not adding up here.
anything up.
What's really going on? You know, and I'm just very thankful that there are people in this country that do keep their hand on the pulse, and they're there to feed people, and they're there to help people, because that really shocked me. That was very shocking.
Shocking. Even for me, shocking. I didn't know there was that many. But still, America is most generous.
I
You know,
believe that we are
you
generous.
go other countries, people don't help each other.
Well, and that might be because they can barely help themselves, you know. I mean, I don't know if that's everywhere, but I'm thinking some.
No, no, because remember we no longer have a kingdom, high society, and royalties and nobilities. In all that, we lost. We don't have that, so money become a factor.
That's the
No,
status.
yeah, that's the status. The status, and of course that gives us a problem. Money gives power. Power corrupts. So like when you see the politicians. Some of the politicians, I really like it because I watch a lot of uh, CNN.
Did you like Bernie?
I voted for him once.
I am I had a
Yeah,
feeling that you were a Bernie
yeah, yeah,
supporter when you said people don't understand socialism. I thought,
yeah, yeah.
Auntie may be a Bernie Sanders supporter.
uh, I only voted one time for him
Mm-hmm.
because this time I was very, very aware of we need somebody has a impeccable character
Mm-hmm.
and be kind.
Mm-hmm.
And Obama would not have a Biden 8 years if he was not a good man.
Mm-hmm.
And I read a lot about him. I said, we don't need a genius. We don't need a good looking, handsome, although he's handsome. And we need somebody with a character and has a compassion. I think one of the most valuable teachings we receive when we are going through a hard time is you understand other people who are in that place, And although I don't have any Korean friend, I have one for 54 years. I picked her up at the airport and we are still friends, but what I was gonna say,
You're talking
but
about compassion.
compassion, yeah. That's why when people, Koreans, I'm talking about Koreans, they see me, they treat me like a high loyalty. Something about me,
Mm-hmm.
they respect. I don't know what it is. I'm not gonna ask them, but it happens all the time. And so I thank whoever I'm supposed to thank you for. I thank, and it encourages to me better all the time. I receive so much, like you gave me an accolade. I don't get it, but anyway, I receive humbly. My friend Jeff calls me MH. Okay, hold on just a minute. M humble smile. MHS. That's my name. You know what that is?
No.
Most humble snob.
Oh.
You know, because I come from very good lineage.
Mm-hmm.
Just for a while we suffered because no money. And so I don't ever want to be addicted to money. You know?
But Auntie, you also learned that lesson at such a young age. When your dad threw
Yes.
the gold into the sea, you learned that lesson in that moment that it's money. It can be replaced. And I was told by a mentor, don't ever worry about money. It comes and goes. And I know that you have to be in a position of privilege to say that to some extent, because there are people who they're worried about how they're going to pay their bills and their
Yeah,
food.
how they're going to eat,
But for people who who do have that luxury, I think understand that and then help others who don't have that luxury.
But not everybody think like you do.
Well,
Money, money become a clutch. Just, and it's very, very prominent in Eastern culture now, Chinese, Koreans, and Japanese. Money is God.
and look what China has done to their own country
Oh
with
my
like
God.
the environment. And I
Yeah.
mean, and I don't think that it's 100, it's not their fault. We've exported, we took advantage of the cheap labor. America took advantage of the cheap labor,
Yeah.
and we are not innocent in that. But look what the
America
world
is
has
never,
done.
America is, don't get me wrong, because Americans are love. I am not crazy about all the policies and the laws that we have as America.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I can tell about America, we are not innocent from anything.
No.
But I think because a single attribute we have, we are giver, we have empathy for others. And I think that's the most unbelievable gift that it was given to Americans when they came.
Mm-hmm. Well, and we
Just,
have the freedom to sit and do what we're doing right now. We have the freedom to
yeah,
sit and discuss
yeah,
these issues and
sure.
to think differently. Than we have the freedom to disagree with each other. Hopefully most of the time it's civilly. It's not always, but yeah, I do love this country, and I do think that it's filled with amazing, beautiful, bright people. And I think that we just need a
Oh,
spark. We just
yes.
need a spark. People just need a spark right now to
Yeah.
to really change, I think, the trajectory that we've been on for a while. And I feel it. I feel it. I see people doing inspiring things all the
Things,
time.
yes, I do too. I do too. I'm telling you, America is called beautiful nation in Chinese characters, so that's what it is. And if we can maintain still giving, be generous and kind, we're gonna go all the way. Nobody can touch us. This Capitol building insurrection, they should teach us a lot. What not using your brain, never traveled, and always bragging about America. The car sticker says, I'm proud to be American. I don't like that. I say, grateful to be American, you know.
Why do you
And
say that? Why grateful over proud?
I think there's a very good places where we be proud of. But if we're proud is the sole purpose, only becomes a bragging.
Mm.
you know. I experienced in my life. Proud. I translated for Hubert Humphrey when Hubert Humphrey came to Korea while I was there. I did a lot of them. Yeah, I met with Bob Hope and not Maine, but I translated for him and Margaret and all these people. I was very happy that time, but you know, but when I get giggly happy is when I give something, give myself. Yeah. Yesterday I was like a little kid because I've been thinking about what little thing I can give more. So I signed up with the Danny Thomas's Children's Hospital. I tell you, joy I already received is 100 times fold. Just knowing I can do something a little better. You know, if we all think that, government has to take care of us a lot of times because place like a church neglect, you know. I live such a little home, you wouldn't believe what kind of living I'm doing, but this is my heaven. I don't miss it.
You don't miss your 6-bedroom home.
No, no,
Well, and
no.
Auntie, when you said that, you know, you get giggly when you give, when I was thinking about, you know, why I wanted to do this podcast and why I wanted to speak to people like you, and what I wanted people to get out of it was when you give of your time, yourself,
Yeah, whatever.
you are potentially sparking something in another human that
Absolutely.
can maybe change the world. And some people may think to themselves, well, I'm not an extraordinary person, but it's like
Everyone
everyone
is.
is extraordinary. And you
Mm-hmm.
may be an artist. Go to a school in an underserved community and paint with these kids. That might be the best thing that they've
That you can
seen
do.
and
Yeah.
that you can do, and you're sharing your gifts with them. And you know, when I volunteer with children, I get that giddy feeling because they just absorb all goodness, and it might be the only good thing in their life, you know, that moment with
That's
you.
exactly right.
Maybe you go and you play your instrument for them. That moment in their life might be something that they hold on to, and it changes the course of their life. and
It does.
and it's just to just give selflessly. It's
Yeah.
I think that's my purpose, and I think that that's also just, it can be everyone's purpose. Just give.
Amen. Yeah. Of course. Uh, we kind of like to map out our life. How much money I have in stock market or savings or checking account, whatever. What kind of house I have, all that. And don't get me wrong, I was happy to live there in a house.
And it's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. That's what I liked most. Natural. All that, it couldn't bring me the peace I have today. And 10 years ago, I did not want to live anymore, you know.
10 years ago,
I
you
didn't
were
want to live.
contemplating suicide.
Mm-hmm. Because when my husband left such a unbelievably undignified way, you know, I went through a lot. But something held me. I mean, I was serious because I have a lot of medication because I have arthritis. Then Well, I didn't die. I'm here.
Mhm.
And I still have debt to pay to society here. America, I need to pay. Oh, I think we have 5 doctors in our family. My nephews and nieces, all of us together now. We have a, I'm not bragging, honey. This
No,
is
I know
such a,
you're not. You're you're
so,
grateful. You're grateful for it.
I'm so grateful. They went to all these schools like Johns Hopkins and Oxford, Yale, they went, and they all have a like mind. I want to help somebody. That's a pretty rare, family to have that.
And it's beautiful. But it doesn't come from nowhere, Auntie. You know that. It comes from having, stories of their I don't know if you told them stories about your father, your mother, but it comes from those people and your stories and you lifting your family up and being grateful. That's I think that's where that comes from.
I suppose come from somewhere good. Um,
It's goodness. It's all goodness and it's good to put into the world, into the
yeah,
universe.
and I was in wrong place for a long time when I came to America because I landed in Oklahoma, so you can imagine, the Mr. Douglas, Mrs. Douglas, Mrs. Johnson. I keep telling myself she's exceptional black lady because
Mhm.
she has education. I did not like black.
You were
Uh,
you were prejudiced.
because so many bad things happen in Korea war with the black soldiers.
Mhm.
And maybe same as white soldiers, but black soldiers are very distinguished looking. We have never seen a black,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
and they did a lot of awful things.
Mhm.
So perception is really bad.
Mhm.
Blacks are like animals. They rape you because that happened a lot.
Mhm.
And so I was prejudiced. And then I got to think about it. What why do I feel this way? What right do I have? Anyway, struggled a long time. And then I finally got satisfied place. I said, okay, I'm not prejudiced. I just don't like they're mentally lazy, they don't go to school, things like I had a good excuse to live for a while in comfortable area.
Mhm.
And one day I was met with who I really was, uh, and who really blacks are. I came here, my free will,
Mhm.
so I can work hard. Those people did not come from free meal, free. I mean, they did not come here free will.
Mhm.
So I started thinking about what would I, we left North Korea looking for freedom, you know. So I have new understanding of blacks, and I want to be extra nice.
Well, that's growth. That's you having and that's what I think that also right now in our culture we have to be more tolerant. We have to allow people to say openly, yeah, I was prejudiced. I had racist ideas and
Yeah,
mentalities, but I've changed.
I
I've grown. I have evolved. And we have to
can.
allow people to have that. We have to give people the grace in
Yes,
order to admit that.
met that. Yeah,
Because if you can't even admit that, then you can't change.
no, and
Because we're all flesh and blood. That's it. And
and
if
we
you
are flawed.
and we're all flawed. And if
Yeah.
you give anyone opportunities, and it doesn't matter their skin color, their culture,
No,
you know, the people will surprise you of all people will surprise you with the evil that they can do, and people will surprise you with the
With
greatness
the
that they
goodness, yeah.
and the goodness. And it doesn't matter what they look like. So I'm glad that you had that growth and that you had that evolution, because you could have continued to harbor those stereotypes in your mind because of what you experienced and saw. You could just say, this is what I believe. This is what I believe.
And that's why I believe in, I am not a better person than anybody because of what I believe. I don't think so. But I happen to be installed my father. Be honest. I'm not talking about I stole the number 2 penicillin when I was 3rd grade. I'm not talking about that kind of honesty. I'm talking about you gotta constantly check, where are you? That's what I love about retirement. I have all the time in the world
To check.
to check.
It sounds like you're on the path to enlightenment, Auntie.
You think so?
It sounds like you're doing the work to get there. It sounds like it. That's
I
what
hope so. I
I
don't know, but I hope so.
I mean, I think that's what it is. You just are constantly checking.
Yeah.
You're constantly checking. I feel like that's how it is with parenting. I lose my
Yes.
temper. And then I have to check. Why did I do that? He's 2. I'm 35. Check yourself. Like, that's growth, that's evolving.
That's right.
And it's
Absolutely.
hard. And it's hard. It's hard work, but it's necessary work to, I think, get to a peaceful place. So look where you are. You're finding your peace.
Oh my God. I used to live well, we made a lot of money, things like that. And I'm looking back, I'm not regretting, but I say, I think I used to waste about 25 to 30% of my energy to something not great as loving people because of money. And I cut off all my rich friends. It's not, I don't love them, I love them. But we're in different planet. We are different planet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's good.
And do you feel freer?
Yes.
Now that you aren't, isn't it interesting that the more money you have, the more and
you're not free.
You're not free.
And like Jesus said, it is easier for rich men to get into heaven than, no. Easier to, just a minute. Essence, what he's saying is, it is next to impossible for rich men to go to the heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Then, not that. What is that humpy animal in Middle East?
Camel.
Camel. Then a camel to go to the eye of the needle.
Oh, wow. I'd never heard that.
Yeah. I understand that first time in my life.
Well, because you begin to worship money. Yeah. That becomes your God.
Oh, of course. Money, nothing wrong with it.
Nothing wrong. We need it. It's necessary.
It's like a bread. You can put it around your neck and sink, or you can build beautiful buildings. So it's always our choice is the problem. Mm-hmm. Not the different object we are blessed with. And I live in this neighborhood. It's a pretty low-income neighborhood. It's a very pretty houses, little ones, because I was looking for smallest home I can buy, a nice neighbor, and they're close to my doctor and the hospital. And I accomplished that. Someday when I'm finished decorating, I'll send you a picture.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty.
And do you and do you feel good about where you are in life right now?
Yes, it never been better.
That's amazing.
Never been better. Each time, all the sufferings, the pain. I hope you continue to be my teacher. I let go everything, honey. I
And
let go.
how did you let go of that resentment? Especially, we haven't really gotten into what happened with your husband and we don't
Mhm.
have to, but there was a lot of resentment there. I'm assuming, I would imagine. How do you even begin to let go of that?
I don't know. That's happened. I try to live a better life every day.
Hmm.
That he sent me to, oh yeah, jail.
For
And
what?
he said, that's the when the Emmys law passed that day uh, in domestic violence. Whoever calls, the other one has to go to jail. That day, that was passed.
Mm.
Because the Emmy always talked to law officers that my husband is abusing me, and then didn't listen. She got killed.
Hmm.
So my husband was a 6'1", too, and he was a heavy, whatever, 200 pounds. Certain areas he's genius. He, I saw something I shouldn't be seeing. So I confront him. Why did you call this number 2,000 times a month? Who is this? He wouldn't tell me. So I called that number, found out.
Hmm.
There was a girl used to take care of us in condo when we go diving. And that's he was cheating with, you know.
Hmm.
That's pretty humiliating. But so I said, don't lie to me. Tell me what's going on here. And he said something, I don't remember, something really cheap, very degrading. So I drink a tea. I'm drinking now every night for my flushing. It
Hmm.
really works. And I was keep listening what he say. I couldn't believe where that guy come from. Money ruined him. So I threw away tea like that to him. And he went to his office and made a red here. It's very white. And called the police and told him that I was trying to burn him. Police came over and said, Miss Gauthier, I know you didn't do anything wrong, but your husband knows the law. And that's why he waited until 11:50 at night, because if senior people are here, they will not take you. But we are,
Oh, wow.
yeah. And how nice police was to me. They, and that was a very valuable, very Tiffany time for me. We all get up 6 o'clock. On the way to there, I call my friends, what's happening. And everyone, I mean, all of them said, we loved your husband because of you. There must be something because you love him so much. That's their consent. Anyway, she said, Sue, this is a Friday night. I know I'll find somebody, judge, and sign you out so you'll be free. I got there 12 o'clock, little cell. I walked back and forth. And only thing I could pray was, God, don't let me lose my mind. Don't let me lose my mind. And because I had an influence, I got out. I never will forget that because I had an influence. There was 6 girls and they were looking at my breakfast because they're hungry. I wasn't hungry, so I gave it to them and we started having conversation. And one young lady said, I don't know how, says, ma'am, you don't look like you belong here. I said, none of us belong here. You don't look like you belong here either. So we started having conversations. And the only reason they are there is because they have no influence. They wrote a hot check, very insignificant. $50 hot check.
And you're in jail for that. Ugh.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
Again, because I was a criminal defense attorney, so I saw a lot of that.
Yeah,
Again,
yeah, that's
it's
right.
depressing. It's depressing.
Depressing. And so 11 o'clock in the morning, the lady, police, I don't know what you call it,
the bailiff or
whatever. They say, Miss Gauthier, and I say, yes. They say, you're free. And those 6 girls, one of them says, praise God, you don't belong here, Miss Sue. I said, honey, you don't either. And I felt very heavy living there, especially when I knew they really not done very bad things.
They're just poor.
They're just poor.
They're just poor.
Yeah, I have never experienced that before. Yeah. And that was a great, great lesson. We don't have to do great things. We do small things, okay. That's a great, And I can tell you how I changed that night.
I'm sure you gained another layer of compassion.
Yeah, I did. And I was very, very righteous indignation over how people with influence can get away with anything. And when you don't have money, you don't get away with nothing. You get away with nothing.
And you're blamed for everything. You're blamed for the downfall of the country. You're blamed for an economic collapse because you're poor. Right. It's like, poor people did not cause the global recession. Okay?
We don't have power to do that.
No.
It's the rich people who does that. And so making I think just the interest, we are making almost $3,000 a day.
And this was your software company. You and your husband owned a software company.
Yeah. And we sold it, And anyway, I never had that much money. But what I did not do, somebody said you should pay more attention to your husband. He's going to alone to diving. But I trusted him. But I didn't know money will affect him. I just believe the money will affect him like it did to me. I'm just grateful. I'm looking for a place to give. And he agreed. So I gave a lot of money away. And one of the things I did was that there was a liberal Korean pastor, went to Baylor. I really liked him because Koreans are very fundamentally what they call evangelical, and very harsh, a lot of judgment. So when I finally met this young man that had a liberal idea, he understood the concept of what it means to be Christian. But he didn't have money to go. He's married, but no money to go to school. So I spent $100,000 to send him to school. He's doing a great job now. Maybe he's the only one his people hear about what grace is about. Really quite smart guy. Anyway, it's not important how much. It's that you do what you can. Widows, one mite is more valuable than someone gives $1,000 to church, you know. So it's not the amount. So the other thing I do, honey, I'm still in court with my husband.
Oh my. Over the divorce?
Over the the
Or the cup?
no 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 over the money.
Mm.
He will not be honest with me because he don't want to share. So my lawyer's still going on.
That can be exhausting.
Yeah, but I don't pay attention. I don't know what's going on. No. I said, when you have money, then tell me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to know. I don't even understand all this language.
You're not expecting anything. You're just going to live your life.
Yeah, I'm going to live my life. If then money come in, good for the world. I can give it to my neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not giving any more money to my children because I sent them to school education and I helped them a lot. I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm done because I'm not doing any favor for my kids either.
I can understand that.
You can.
Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, it's similar to what Bill Gates was saying. I think he was saying he's going to give each of his kid, they're still going to get 10 million.
Yeah, that's nothing for them.
That's nothing. They probably can spend that a year in traveling.
Oh, yes.
And, the things that they do.
But so I plug. I guarantee you there's no place in the face of the earth who thinks like they Americans. Yeah. Really, a whole bunch of cowboys become pretty sophisticated. I hope we all learned a good lesson having a Donald Trump as a president.
What is that lesson that you hope we learn?
When you're falling in love with money and power, you'll fall. Money doesn't become a tool anymore. It's just a tool to destroy things when you're falling in love with power and money that much. Mm-hmm. And I feel sorry for the guys. I thought I never can say that before, but I am. What a pathetic and terrible place human being to be in.
To be that obsessed and in love with money, yeah.
And then look at it, problem he has now. Because we do unthinkable things when we're desperate.
Mm-hmm. And rich people who are about to lose all of their money do incredibly desperate things.
Oh, very desperate.
Yeah. I think it's easier for people who have been poor and then they come into money and they're like, well, I know I can make it if I'm poor again. It won't be easy, but I've been poor before.
Yeah.
And I can be poor again. But if you've never experienced that, it can be quite frightening, I'd imagine.
Oh, yes, it is. And I, very much so, very frightened, dark world. How I decided was, okay, if I don't get any penny, I'll leave. Mm-hmm. So what? So we settled. And my lawyer said, we need to do this because it's yours. And so I don't know what's going on. I just don't want to know. Yeah.
I would say it's probably better for your mental health if you don't.
I think so. Because that money connects to all the problem we brought to our family life.
But Sue, this is, Auntie, this is what I didn't know the depth of what I know about you now. You opened up to me about about a lot, but I didn't know the depth of your story. And it just reaffirmed that you're just the exact type of person that I feel like is out there. You've lived an incredible life. You have an incredible story. And yet at the center of it all is an immense amount of gratitude,
Oh,
and
yes.
that gratitude shapes your worldview. It shapes the way that you live. It shapes your ability to say, okay, I once was a millionaire and now I'm
Mhm.
living in a tiny little home, and I can be happy and I can be
Yeah,
grateful and I can have all of these things.
I wouldn't want to have it any other way because that's a lot to take care of. I
Mhm.
lived there alone 10 years, you know, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a healing place for me. But had I known living in small home will bring this much contentment and joy, I would have done it. I didn't know. I never thought about not living there. I had all kind of plan to make it better. And over 1 2 weeks of period of time, I'm learning and and I want to be naked. I don't want to be. I understand why being poor is a good journey. I'm not that poor now, but compared to before. But it doesn't matter to me. Just life is good. And we will survive. We shall survive.
Mhm. That's that spirit, Auntie. That's what this is about, is that higher consciousness, that ability to not only raise your own consciousness but raise others around
Others,
you,
yeah,
you know. And you know, you know that feeling where the whole world feels heavy, and it's just like you feel like everyone around you just, it just doesn't feel good. And I feel like maybe
yeah,
we're coming out of that period. If everyone around you is happy and grateful and is passionate and they're helping others, that's going to raise the collective consciousness of the world.
I
You
think
know,
so.
people will, that energy exists and it transfers.
Yes,
And I'm so grateful that you exist and that you are
thank you.
telling your story. And yeah, it's just, I'm grateful. And it's,
And
yeah.
thank you.
Incredible story, Auntie. Incredible. An incredible life.
And you are, I am very grateful to you and appreciate that you think that highly of my life. I appreciate that very much.
You know, I respect anyone who can overcome a great amount of adversity and with a smile on their face. And they don't blame anyone for their problems. You could blame a lot of different people.
Yeah.
You know, we all have experiences in our life where we could blame people for things that have happened to us. But to find true peace and to really find contentment and happiness and share that, you can't you can't walk around with that burden of blame.
No, I was almost raped by my stepfather, my brother's father. And when I'm talking to people, Missy, you have no idea what I went through. You know, every time they tell me what they went through, I already went through.
Mhm.
So they think I'm doing good because everything is well. And I can tell the rape victim, you know, I was raped. I say, I understand that. I understand. And try to understand others, why they don't look like us, they don't think like us, they don't live like us, why they live like that. There's always stories, probably better than mine. But anyway, I got the reason I am not dying yet is because I'll say again, I have debt to pay to American society. Unthinkable. And so I brought 28 people. My aunt later, my aunt and uncle's family. My uncle was a journalist. He almost got killed. So my friends helped me to the NBC. See, that's again, I don't know. I know so many influential people because I was not. And they got special visa in Kentucky and lived, my sister and they lived next door to each other. And my uncle just died from lung cancer. He smoked a long time.
Mm.
And but his son is doing very well. Good people. Yeah. You know, family has to have a legacy. But family is not going to have a legacy if I don't have a legacy. You
You
know.
have a legacy, Auntie. I'm sorry to tell you, but after our conversation, I think that it's safe to say that you have indeed left a legacy.
I hope
In
so.
maybe in ways that you just didn't even know or didn't even consider, didn't even think about. But
No,
you've left a
abs-
legacy of helping people.
yeah, maybe, yeah. But if people only know how much it brings joy to you, they will all do it.
That's what we got to try to get out into the world, Auntie. You can be so happy if you just help other people.
Yes,
That's
that's a good,
that's the secret to life. Help other
yeah, and
people.
that's the best tool we were given. If
Mhm.
you do that, you'll be happy.
You don't have to have money to do it. You
No,
don't have to have
no,
anything other than just kindness. And I know that sounds sappy. I'm like hearing
no,
myself
it's
say it,
not.
but
No, it's not.
it's just
It's
true.
not. Little smile, middle of darkness. Say hello, how are you today? And when I make a appointment for my doctor or whatever, I don't go. All the receptionists, they all become my friend.
I have a feeling that it's everyone you meet becomes your friend.
It's amazing. And they will, when I go, they will say, they'll treat me like royalty. I haven't done a single thing except I treat them like I like to be treated.
Mhm.
They'll say, oh, Monsieur is here. And they just, and what a rich life that is.
Mhm.
Somebody welcomes you.
Mhm.
And yeah, I have a lot of stories I can share with you. You're gonna have a heck of time editing.
Well, I think we've been going for 2 hours now, so we
Yeah,
can
stop.
wrap
Yeah.
this episode, and I just want to thank you again for just sharing your story.
You know, honey, I know you are, but I don't even know why you're thanking me for. I really don't know.
Because I hope that it helps other people to realize that they too are extraordinary they can do extraordinary things. And just the simple act of helping someone else, helping other people in need, can make them extraordinary. That's
Well,
all it takes.
it's a common gift. I don't need the money. I don't need to be talent. I don't have to be beautiful. I don't have to be anything. Being kind is the easiest thing you can do.
And with that, it's a wrap.
Okay.
Thank you for being my guest on A Higher Consciousness, Auntie.
Thank you, dear. You're an angel.
Oh, thank